What's up, everybody? This is Bbon, and this is a very special game today. This is one of the two new superstar squads that have been formed since the International. One of them is MYMSG, who is not going to be playing in this game, and the other superstar squad that has been formed is ADDS, and they are going to be playing on the Sentinel against the Scourge team, C4. And I do believe this is, in fact, a scrimmage. I don't think this is in any tournament, but ADDS is looking very, very official at this point in time because it was announced either today or yesterday that they will be they were invited to WDC, which is a very prestigious tournament. You know, probably the second largest tournament after the International. A grand prize of up to $50,000 is awarded to the winning teams or the top placers. So ADDS looking very strong, although they don't have an official sponsor or anything like that at the time, and they still have two players who I don't think have officially left their old team, that is Fear and Pajkat. I don't think they've officially left OK Nirvana, but you know, if they're invited to WDC, looks like this team is going to be a threat. Now, one of the concerns for this team is that pretty much all of these players are predominantly semi-carry players, or sort of the 2 role, as Nebula would say. When they're assessing 1 through 5 in terms of sort of a DPS role, a lot of these players are 2. That is, they play the primary semi-carries and stuff like that, and they can play hard carries. And there's no clear-cut support, there's no clear-cut ganker, but keep in mind that these are all very talented, high-skilled Dota players, and they can play pretty much any role. It might take a little while for them to adjust, but I do believe this is in fact the first time that they have played together. That's what Demon said on his Facebook page, which is where I found this replay. So, unless Demon's a liar, which I severely doubt in this case, this is, in fact, the first time we're going to see ADDS in action. So, they might be a little bit rusty. I know that Demon has mentioned that it is hard for him to transition from Dota 1 to Dota 2, and in fact, he is streaming a lot of Dota 2 matches, so this is going to be a little bit different for the Sentinel side because they have been playing a lot of Dota 2, but they should still be quite strong in terms of Dota 1. So let's introduce the Scourge first. We have Jägermeister, Crystal Maiden, Fear, not OK Nirvana or ADDS Fear, but a different Fear playing the puck. Z3 Nona or Zenona on the Slardar, Zonky on the Furion, and the last pick, Flood, will be playing the other hero who is not currently picked at this point because this is an AP remake, or this might just be a clan match, a scrimmage, something like that for funsies. So, meanwhile, on the Sentinel side, we have a Demon playing the Beastmaster, Playmate on the Priestess of the Moon. I'm gonna guess that Broodmother is Pajkat. Smoke Monster 2, that's a pretty, interesting name. I believe that was the name of Pusher's alternate account, so that might be a shout out to MYM. So if that is the case, then I'm going to guess that this is Misery, and Fear will be playing the Chen. These are just guesses on my part. Demon was not kind enough to provide names of the players of these different tags on his Facebook page, but this is the full roster according to him. So this is looking to be a very exciting match. So, let's see how they are going to lane this. I mean, clearly we want Demon's Beastmaster be laning solo mid because Demon's Beastmaster is one of the strongest in all of the Western Hemisphere. Pajkat, I'm gonna guess that this is Pajkat, will be probably soloing top. Gonna have Priestess of the Moon bottom and probably maybe a Lich supporting the Priestess of the Moon and perhaps jungling with the Chen a little bit. But this lineup is clearly designed around the mid game. Chen and Lich are probably the 2 most powerful mid-game heroes that are currently being picked and banned in the competitive Dota scene at this point in time. Chen just gets ridiculously strong because his Holy Persuasion can be used to save allies from the brink of death, and he still has a nuke to work with because of the change to Test of Faith being transitioned over to Holy Persuasion. Furthermore, he is a ridiculously powerful healer. He can help farm up his supports, get a lot of quick experience, and, come out with a pretty good item set. Mechanism being one of the most important items in all of Dota at this point in time. Chen coming out of the forest with a mechanism along with the Hand of God just gives you a ridiculous boost in terms of teamfight. 500 AoE heal around that. So, this is the main reason why Chen is such a beast. And, of course, we all know about Lich. He's a pain in the ass to lane against. Whenever you're laning against him, you might as well... whenever I lane against Lich, I always feel like I'm going to kill myself because you're not going to get any experience. You're always going to be against the opponent's tower, so you're always fearful of being ganked or something like that. And, Lich He's going to get his levels. He might not get the best farm, but unless you sort of devote a hero or a couple heroes to ganking him 24/7, he's going to outlevel you, and he's going to get his Chain Frost off relatively quick, even if he's against a tri-lane. And even as a lane partner, even if he is in a tri-lane or a dual lane, he'll just allow the other lane mate to win the lane for you because he'll just be denying the hell out of all of your experience. And Frost Armor is a really powerful tool in this game where, physical damage dealers have been making a bit of a rise. Syllabear has been seeing a comeback, Anti-Mage, Lycan, Void. Heroes like that who deal a lot of physical DPS, Frost Armor can help negate a lot of that damage. Meanwhile, Broodmother, massive invisible spiderlings, it's everybody's worst nightmare, except for some arachnophilia, which you are a kinky son of a bitch if you have one of those. So, Broodmother, once he gets a BKB, let's see if there's any BKB counters at the moment. Right now there aren't any BKB counters, Vengeful Spirit, Enigma, neither of those two heroes are picked in this, and they do have the Beastmaster, so once Ruler picks up the BKB, there's not really much you can stop. Of course, the Scourge has a lot of mobility on their side. They have a Puck who is ridiculously mobile. Slaughter can sprint away from the Broodmother. Furion, if the Broodmother is not accompanied with the Stunner, can teleport away. Only Crystalmane is truly fucked by this Broodmother. But still, there's a bit of AoE to counteract. Crystalmane, Puck, Furion's Treants, and along with his Wrath of Nature ultimate will help tear down Spiderlings, but in conjunction with the Chen and the mid-game prowess of this entire team in general, it'll be tough to defend against all of this. But Scourge has a pretty good lineup. They have a lot of mobility on their team. I expect to see a lot of ganking because Furion can teleport anywhere, and Slaughter and Puck have a lot of mobility themselves. Let's just resume the game and see what the last pick is on the Scourge, and it is a Lycanthrope, so that will give them some crucial mid-game TPS. Slaughter will not be the primary carry in this case, Lycan will, and Slaughter will be more of the tanky initiator role that can be, a Clockwork or a Batrider doesn't necessarily need to be Mather or Bent in this case, but he can sort of provide a similar role to that, although he gets stronger much slower, but he has a potential, he has a better late game than either of those two heroes. So let's get right into this game. I hope you're all excited to see the new ADDS. So I've been looking for a lot of replays recently, particularly of ADDS and MYMSG. Unfortunately, MYMSG, I don't believe they've released any replays. I'm sure they played a couple matches, but that team has been playing League of Legends before they were acquired by MLM, so maybe they're going with that, but they will be at WDC along with ESTC in Asia, so I'm looking forward to that. And of course, WDC, I believe, is in November or maybe late October, so be on the lookout for that, along with Dota 2 beta keys going out everywhere. So there's a lot of Dota 1 to keep your interest up, and I personally like the amount of heroes that are in Dota 1 because I miss heroes like Batrider, Brood. Oh man, I don't really miss Brood. Brood can suck. Brood can suck it. Meanwhile, we see Priestess of the Moon, Playmate, just going up top, so it looks like my lane predictions are a little bit messed up. We're going to actually see Broodmother solo bot with Chen jungle, Beastmaster solo mid, and the Lich Bottom up top. So a little bit, switch the bottom and the top lanes, and you have pretty much what I predicted in terms of lanes. Meanwhile, we're going to have Slaughter up top with the Crystalmane, going to have Lycan in the jungle, and maybe a Furion solo bot against the Brood, or Furion, jungle with the Lycan for a bit. It's going to be a little bit interesting how they lane this Furion. I'm going to expect that he's going to be laning bot against the Broodmother, because he can handle himself okay, unless they decide to go with a very common push strategy, which is to bring 4 heroes up top, and if Broodmother pushes your tower, you can put a Furion down here and help defend the push. So, let's see what they decide to do. This is, again, not a competitive match, and this word is a little bit misplaced by Playmate. It has to be over here in order to see this part of the jungle, so a little bit of misplaced word. But, again, this isn't a serious game at all. This is just one of the new scrimmages. So Playmates picked up some slippers, and Beastmaster didn't go with the fast ball rush build, and that's probably because he predicted he's not going to be facing a particularly hard lane opponent. Puck can outlane the Beastmaster, but Beastmaster's not really in any chance of danger against the Puck by himself, so he can afford to sort of wait a bit for his bottle and exchange for a bit more lasting power and a bit more stability with his Gauntlet of Strength. So meanwhile, we have the Slaughter and the Fury on dual lane with a Crystal Main backup. This is a little interesting. So they're going to leave Broodmother to farm alone, and that's pretty okay for the first couple of levels until Broodmother hits level 3 or level 5, when she decides to push along with the Chen backup creeps, and then that tower is in a world of hurt. So we see OK Nirvana 1, could be Fear, could be Pashkat, calling that nobody's bottom. Meanwhile, we see Lich being annoying as hell, denying creeps. Already the creep wave is being pushed back to the tower, and there's not really much the CM or the Furin can do to harass the other two back, because these are both very high-ranged heroes, and the Slaughter is going to have a tough time farming. Already, he's at 6-0, which is pretty good, but he's not going to get anywhere near the amount of experience that he needs to be. And Crystal Main is certainly not going to get any experience at all. So mid lane looks to be like a wash at this point. Beastmaster is 7-0 against Furion 2-1, so they decided to switch the puck to a bot lane, which is the smart choice. And they're going to have Lycan free farming it up in the jungle, but Lycan, he can be stopped by a Beastmaster Roar once he gets a BKB, and Frost Armor helps negate a lot of the DPS. So in terms of a Lycan stopping lineup, Lich and Beastmaster are two of the heroes that you want against the Lycanthrope. And, you know, heroes like Potom, who is really hard to kill, Broodmother, who has pretty high movement speed in the webs, along with invisibility, is pretty hard to kill as well. So this is a pretty strong anti-Lycan lineup in terms of the Sentinel. So good picks. I don't know if Lycan was one of the first 3 picks or anything like that, but good picks nonetheless by the Sentinel to help counteract the Lycan. Meanwhile, Beastmaster is going to Axe farm, and he already has his bottle, even though he got the early Gauntlet of Strength. So he's farming very well. Meanwhile, Crystal Main has decided to venture in for experience because, you know, you want to give your Slaughter a lot of experience, but if your Crystal Main is going to be level 2, 5 minutes in the game, you're not going to have a good time, because Crystal Main is one of the most powerful early game supports with her ridiculously AoE, Frost Nova, her Frostbite, and her Brilliance are all providing a ridiculous amount of early game strength. So you need to give that Crystal Main levels, but unfortunately you're against the Lich, and you're not going to get too many levels at all. So it looks like they're going to sacrifice some experience on the Slaughter in order to get Crystal Main the levels that she needs. Meanwhile, Chen is not going to be jungling with the support, as is so common in many cases, but in fact is already level 4, 3.5 minutes into the game, and is probably going to get fast mechanism, farm up, get an early level 7, and once he gets a high enough level, I don't think there's too much the puck can do to stop the imminent push on this lane. But let's see where Broodmother is going to send the spiders. Probably just to this creep camp and that one. So Chen will still have enough creep camps to farm in the jungle. So one of the problems, like I said before, for this ADDS team that people foresaw is that a lot of them play semi-carries. There isn't a hardcore support player. There isn't a pusher. There isn't a puppy who is, you know, a very strong support or a very strong ganker. But keep in mind that Dota players they're pretty versatile in terms of what roles they can play. Of course, you know, you'd rather have a puppy playing a Chen than Star Guy, who could be another player. I'm not honestly sure if this is Fear or Misery playing the Chen. But in terms of sort of aggression or late game prowess, I think this team has it down pretty cold. Meanwhile, we see Furin coming in with a strong gank, but looks like Lich is going to be a little too short, and Playmate, it's a nice arrow, but wow, nice turnaround by the Lich, getting a Frost Nova kill on the Slaughter when he was just about to escape, but looks like Potom might have overstepped a little. Nope. Just one more hit from the Furin would have saved him, or would have killed him, rather. And instead we see the Crystal Main clariting up, and the Lich is suspecting that the Crystal Main is in fact somewhere lurking. And meanwhile we see Furin TPing back, is going to get a Sprout. Looks like Slaughter is going to get a Crush very soon, and Crystal Main pops out to provide a little bit of extra DPS. Lich tries to get one last hit on the Crystal Main, but cannot do enough damage to kill. Meanwhile, let's see, Beastmaster, since Pharaon TP'd from the mid lane, Beastmaster's getting complete free farm. Already level 6, 28 and 4. Let's see what he picks up. In terms of pushing lamp, Necro Book is probably one of his strongest, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Beastmaster pick up an early Vlad's. You know, those will help Chen creeps, those will help Broodmother, so be on the lookout for that. Meanwhile, we have Chen already picking the mechanism, and he has 2 creeps, he's level 5, and immediately they start the push. Meanwhile, Demon does manage to get a kill on the Crystal Main solo, catching the Crystal Main off when she was running back to base to heal from that fight so long ago. That's how fucking slow Crystal Main is. Weighed down by her assets, among other things. And Aurora catches the Lycan. It is not level 6, so this arrow unfortunately misses, but Beastmaster already has the boots. Lycan does not have shit and is going to get picked off by the planet, so good job ganking. And again, this is a really strong Lycan, anti-Lycan team. You know, usually you want a clockwork, but Beastmaster's Hawk can provide a lot of vision, telling you when can we gank Lycan and when is it okay. Meanwhile, Furion throws down a Wrath of Nature, but that merely softens up the creep waves. Broodmother salves up, all is well, has the Soul Ring, and is going to proceed to keep hitting that tower. So C4 looks to be in a little bit of trouble at the moment. They're not really getting too much farm on the heroes they need. Lycan's already got ganked. Slara doesn't have boots yet, doesn't have a finished Vanguard. Is not really close to anything. Meanwhile, towers are being pushed. They've already ganked the Lycan for the Sentinel side, so Sentinel's looking pretty strong, but Puck drops a beautiful Dream Coil, catching 3 heroes, but there's no follow-up damage at all because Lycan is farming, and Furion has to run away from the spiders, which have, you know, ridiculously high move speed in the web, which is very, very sad. Meanwhile, Crystal Main is trying to desperately pick up any experience that she can. Brilliants are level 1, so 1 level of Frost Nova, 1 level of Frostbite. Meanwhile, Chen just comes in with another creep. Let's see, Chen is level 6, so expect to see an ultimate popped relatively soon, as we see the ultimate being popped right then and there. So this tower will be next to fall very soon, but the Puck is coming back in, has full mana, can throw down a couple orbs, and limit the push. Meanwhile, Lich is taking up this time to farm, which is a strong move because you really need supports to get a lot of experience when you're going for a mid-game lineup, or else they'll just be easy prey for the Lycan or for, you know, the Puck or other heroes or the Slaughter if they have not enough levels or not enough items. So it's a good choice giving Smoke Monster 2 this experience. So for being a scrimmage, looks like ADDS is making all the right moves. So they look pretty scary. I'd be on the lookout for them at WDC, but meanwhile, Slaughter has 31 creep kills, which is pretty high. Let's check out what he's going to get. He's very close to his Vanguard, so he's probably going to finish that. Once Slaughter picks up his Vanguard, there's not really much the Sentinel can do to kill him unless they get a nice Chain Frost ultimate. But meanwhile, a nice roar by Demon catches the Furion, double damage, and a Frost Nova along with the Pig, and Beastmaster just dies in a burst of glory. Not Beastmaster, Furion. Meanwhile, a Chain Frost is dropped on Puck, but Puck does a nice job juking it, but whoa, a Sniper Axis by the Beastmaster totally headshot that Puck. So, Crystal Main still level 4. Check out her aura. She's got level 2 Frost Nova most likely to help slow down the push, but there's not really much that they can do at this point. They're really hoping for the Lycan, but Lycan's farm was slowed down significantly when he was ganked by the Beastmaster and the Priestess of the Moon. So Lycan won't be too effective for another 2 or 3 minutes, but meanwhile, the Broodmother does die to a nice gank by the Puck and the Furion, even though Furion didn't get any of the kills or the assist. They still kill the Broodmother, which is very important, but Broodmother did her job. She got the tower, and that just gives the Sentinel side so much map control, and they can really seize the game with if Beastmaster picks up a very common gem, but instead Beastmaster looks like he is going to go for that Necro Book to help complement the pushing power and just go for sort of an all-in push strat and win the game 25-30 minutes in. Meanwhile, Priestess of the Moon is farming up, has the phase boots. Slaughter only has the Vanguard again, and Broodmother has died once, but she's picked up a couple towers. Check out our gold really fast, 172 gold, and meanwhile Furion is going to spawn himself and TP back, so that's a little bit underfarmed for Broodmother. I don't really see any items at the moment, so Broodmother only having Soul Ring and Treads 10 minutes in the game. That's not the best farm, but she's been doing a lot in terms of pushing towers, harassing the puck, just being a general nuisance, as all Broodmother players are. So, let's see if Sentinel are going to push the mid tower. This mid tower is actually very low, and once the Sentinel take this tower, there's not really going to be much security in terms of the Lycan to go for Roshan for counter-ganking, but it looks like there might be a little bit of an engagement up top, but they get a Dream Coil on the Param, and Param already used the leap, but she's a little bit too tanky at the moment to be initiated upon, but looks like Slaughter is sprinting in, but Roar catches the Furion, and Slaughter can't go in without any backup or else he'll be one dead snake. Or Naga, sorry. Little bit of Naga racism right there. I apologize to any of you Nagas out there. So let's see. That Aura still level 1, so it looks like Crystal Maiden is in fact getting a high level Frost Snow and skipping the Aura completely. You know, that'll help prevent a lot of the AoE presence of the Broodmother and the Beastmaster and the Chen, but you want some spammability. Of course, one of the benefits of having your tower pushed and having a low level aura is that you're already so close to your fountain that, you know, you can just go back and regen. But again, this mid tower is really important in terms of the game because now Lycan doesn't really have a safe avenue for backup support if he gets ganked for Roshan or anything like that, and it allows Sentinel to take a very quick Roshan, and that's probably one of the moves I expect Sentinel to do next because Scourge can't TP here, can't TP here, can only really TP here, and Sentinel has so much map vision in terms of the Hawk and, you know, a scouting arrow along with some Chen creeps, and then brilliant arrow by a playmate catches the Furion totally out of position. But Furion does pop a haste rune just in time, but looks like Crystal Maiden will be the next one to fall. A missed sprout by the Furion, and looks like Crystal Maiden tries to suicide to the neutrals, but just gets owned by Chen. So nice play by Star Guy. Again, I'm not too sure who this is, but Star Guy picking up the mechanism. And with that, they're going to push this top tower, and Slaughter has to retreat. And a nice arrow again, unfortunately positioned in a little bit of a wasted Chain Frost, but he's just used for the slow to catch off the Slaughter, and Slaughter is surely totally alive. Scratch that. Looks like Lich is going to be the next one in trouble, but Puck is forced to ball back out, and Crystal Man's going to be the next one to die. So Lich actually is taking a lot of damage. Oh, almost. Yep, just finally dies to the Lycanthrope, and Lycan is on a tear right now because all of the ultimates have already been used. Kills the Chen along with help from the Puck, and looks like he's going to go after the Beastmaster, but Beastmaster says, lol, your team has no stuns, and just teleports out. So good recognition by the Sentinel to catch the Scourge out of position a bit, get a couple kills, and then TP away from Lycan, although Lycan did get one kill. But good play by the Scourge, you know, turning a lost situation around, got a couple kills in return. And meanwhile, Slaughter is taking his time to farm up top, but keep in mind the Sentinel was fighting all that 4v5. Broodmother did 1,000 damage to this tier 3 tower, and that's the power of Broodmother. If you leave her alone, if you focus on her teammates, you're going to get your lanes pushed very hard. And that's what this Broodmother player is doing a fantastic job at. 500 golden bank, looking for an Ogre X. There it is right there, going to pick up a BKB, and again, once Broodmother picks up that BKB, there's not really much that the Sentinel fear in terms of the Scourge to counteract that BKB. Of course, you know, Lycan does significant DPS, but Broodmother can just lifesteal it back. There's no swap, there's no Howl of Terror. The Scourge does have pretty good mobility, but Crystal Main will be dead, Furion will be dead with a couple disables, and Slaughter, if he's chain stunned well enough, should die as well. So, meanwhile, we see Demon having that Necro Book level 1. Yeah, a little bit of lull right now in the action. Playmate is going for Perseverance. Probably going to go for a Lincoln Sphere. You know, I'm not really a huge fan of Lincoln's on Palm because Leap can function pretty well, but meanwhile, Lich gets ganked on. Get a nice Hand of God, manages to save a Lich, but Dream Coil catches 4 people. A fantastic Dream Coil, and looks like the... wow, a little bit of a blunder by the Chen player, sent the Quill piece back for the heal, and that cost the Demon his life, and looks like Chen is on the retreat, but Broodmother managed to pick off the kill on the Crystal Main, and Broodmother is going to try to get the Puck. Oh, Puck manages to TP out, but Chen is in a lot of trouble right now, and Chen dies as well, so that's what you get for being a PETA member. If you try to save the Animals, you're just going to get owned by fairy dragons. But meanwhile, Brumer is on the warpath, is getting so many kills, and amplified damage can't do too much because Brumer is long gone already. And meanwhile, all that time, Priestess Moon was farming up top, so I'm not a huge fan of Lincolns on the Priestess Moon because if you time your leap well enough, then you should be able to avoid most targeted stuns. Of course, that'll leave you out of position, you can't fight with your team as much, but you don't have to spend 5,000 gold for that. And a nice preemptive arrow almost got the puck, perfect timing, and the puck is in a lot of trouble right now. He's forced to ball out, but he should be okay because Orb will be coming off cooldown. So, let's see. Meanwhile, the Lycanthrope, what's he doing? Not rationing. He's in fact going to Roshan, and he picked up the Ogre Axe rather than the common kill Roshan really fast strategy, which is to get that early Medallion of Courage, give you a lot of minus armor, and tear through Roshan. But meanwhile, Broodmother and runs away from the slaughter, and there's no sentry wards. Meanwhile, Playmate gets a kill on the Puck, and Puck rage buys or something. There was no other need for that buyback other than it was a rage buy, so a little bit of emotion, but again, this is not a serious game at all. Demon still has that Necro 1, Playmate still has Perseverance and Phase Boots. This Chen has been playing pretty well, except from that Holy Persuasion on the Pig, sending him back to base. And meanwhile, Beastmaster manages TP out because other than the Slaughter and the Dream Coil and the Frostbite, not any stuns at all. And looks like the Scourge are going to try to Roshan, and with the amplified damage functioning as a Medallion of Courage, Roshan will go down very fast indeed. And I don't think there's too much that the Sentinel can do, because Fearon creeps can help tank a lot of the Chain Frost damage if Lich manages to get a nice ultimate. Puck can just crowd control very well, so this Roshan should go pretty well to the Scourge, and they'd only trade a Crystal Main for it. Looks like some trees are being blocking off, and Lycan gets Aegis. Starfall going on, a little bit of a team fight, and Fearon is going to fall down. Yes, Fearon does fall down to nice focusing by Playmate and the Broodmother. Meanwhile, huge action, nice chain stunning by the Chen player, just doing a lot of damage, and I think the Aegis already popped. And Lycan's in a lot of trouble already, and Lycan's going to go down again, so despite me saying Scourge should have a pretty good time Roshanning, so I'll just own that fight with the superior tower gold advantage, superior levels, and superior item gear, and just total clusterfuck of summons. Chen creeps, Beastmaster summons, Necro Book, Chain Frost, just totally owning that battle, and just doing so much DPS so early on in the game. Keep in mind this is only 18 minutes in, and Scourge have 0 towers, so they don't have too much gold in terms of items, and they're not even CSing that well. The highest CS for them is 53, and meanwhile, Playmate is outfarming all of them. He has 69. So it looks like they're going to go for Bomb Tower because Boomer already softened up that tower quite a bit, and Mechanism, along with Starfall, will help clear out that creep wave quite quickly. And Lycan, without the Aegis, can't really run in and just own people. He's forced to sort of play a little bit more passively, and he doesn't have the BKB, and meanwhile Boomer does have the BKB, pops it, and just runs in. There's not much Scourge can do to stop a BKB Brew. And meanwhile, a nice Chain Frost being dropped, scaring everybody out, and Demon gets a kill on the Lycan, and Slaughter might be the next one to fall. Brumer escapes barely with his life, but due to the insane web regen, should escape just fine, and Fearon is forced to run back. An unlucky nuke, but Playmate gets a double kill. So well played by ADDS, not losing a single tower in this scrimmage, and just being very convincing in this dominating fashion. And keep in mind that C4 is an organized team, and they cannot be underestimated. So strong showing by ADDS, getting 20-minute racks and not losing a single tower. And meanwhile, this Broodmother is just going to get even more and more powerful, and this Lycan just keeps dying without the BKB. And even if he does get a BKB, there's a lot of counters against it. You know, Chen can send the person that Lycan's targeting back to home if he's getting a little bit too low. Lich Frost Armor just doing a lot in terms of increasing his allies' effective HP, and Beastmaster's Roar, 3-second stun at level 2 goes right through BKB and effectively shuts up the Lycan, but Lycan doesn't even have a BKB, so no worries about that. He's getting quite close. But meanwhile, Sar looks like he's going to go for BKB as well. If Scourge can drag this out, if they can turtle long enough, they have a pretty good shot because Brood Mother and Potom, you know, will run out of steam. And I don't know what like a man means, but you're not a man, dude. You're a Brood Mother. You have all your babies coming out from under your webs, raping all your opponents. Meanwhile, Chen has just been playing very, very well. Just constantly creating a lot of havoc, and the mass summon strategy is just tearing the Scourge a new one. And they can't even AoE burst down the summons because they're in fear of a Necrobook, and a high-level Necrobook this early on just means a dead hero if you manage to kill it. Because a level 3 Necronomicon does 600 pure damage to the person that kills. Looks like Pom actually goes for a Lothar, so a little bit of a joke build for a Playmate. I don't see any reason to get a Lothars on Priestess of the Moon ever. It's not like you really need the Windwalk. You have pretty good mobility. There's a lot of items that are better in terms of damage. But maybe you just want a quick burst of damage at the outset of the battle right off the bat. So Scourge still can't really group up and get a push on because they don't really have many good pushing heroes. Of course, Furion is one of the best pushing heroes, but this Furion has been pressed down so hard. I mean, Furion 21 minutes in the game should have more items than this, but he's just been ganked, has been dying all over the place. Every time he tries to get a kill, you know, they just TP out away from him. Sprout is not a hard disable at all. So this Furion's just being hard pressed down, and you can't really teleport anywhere because he might just get killed instead. So, unfortunate for the Furion player. Meanwhile, we see Beastmaster finishing that level 3 Necronomicon. Chen picking up a Medallion of Courage will help reduce the armor a lot, and in conjunction with Lich's Frost armor, you won't feel the negative effects of Medallion so much as a Chen player. Meanwhile, Sar's just going to try to finish that BKB. I think Lycan should have his BKB by now. Yeah, 500 more gold and you'll have his BKB, but let's see if Sentinel recognizes that and decides to push. But even then, there's a lot you can do to fight the Lycan BKB with this team. So, meanwhile, Axes are going to tear through this, and Lich has just been doing the hard support, so I wouldn't be actually surprised. This can't really be Pusher, because Demon said this is the full ADDS lineup, and Pusher is not a part of ADDS, although I know he and Demon are good friends. So we see the Necronomicons going right at the tower, taking a lot of damage, doing a lot of DPS. I mean, look at that. Combined with the Beastmaster attack speed aura, and your Spiderlings get the attack speed aura, that is just... it's pretty ridiculous how fast this team can take down towers. So, yep, the wolves are popped, and this Necrobook Warrior is probably going to go down very soon. Let's see if Puck is going to kill. Nope, the tower manages to get the last hit. But meanwhile, the tower is going to go down very fast. The Hand of God comes in to heal everybody back up, and the mechanism should be off cooldown relatively soon. So, let's see what Scourge decides to do, who they're going to focus. I think they should try to focus the Lich, but they don't really have enough burst damage to kill the Lich before he gets his Chain Frost. So, may try to kill the Beastmaster. But meanwhile, it doesn't matter because Gray gets immediately picked off. The Puck dies and buys back because this is the last stand of C4, but Chain Frost manages to bounce off, gets a Side Art, some really hacks bounces, kills everybody. Chen gets a triple kill, and Broodmother is just tearing through this team. A new one, and that is the good game. So, strong opening performance by ADDS. I'm going to look forward to them at WDC, so... really, really convincing performance. I'm going to hope to see more official matches by ADDS, but I know a lot of them have been playing quite a bit of Dota 2. But keep your eyes out on this team. Keep your eyes out for the Americans, the Double Danish, and the Swede. So thank you all for watching, and have a fantastic day.